You've probably heard tales of strange substances that lie hidden in the world's most remote corners, but few can compare to the so-called mad honey, a mysterious nectar found deep in the Himalayan region of Nepal. Harvested only during specific times of the year, this rare honey has sparked endless debate. Some claim it offers healing powers unlike anything else on Earth, while others warn that a single miscalculation can send an unsuspecting user spiraling into a haze of bizarre visions, intense vertigo, or even worse. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, but let's dive right into the video. Why would anyone risk traveling to such breathtaking heights just for a few spoonfuls of sticky liquid? It turns out the secret lies not just in the dizzying effect it can produce, but in the centuries of folklore that cling to every drop. Generations of Himalayan tribes have passed down secrets of how to retrieve this honey, navigating treacherous cliffs, swarming with giant bees that dwarf the ones found in most other parts of the world. Each harvest is shrouded in ritual and risk, fueling rumors that continue to spread far beyond the confines of Nepal's mountains. One thing's for sure, once you dive into the story of mad honey, it's nearly impossible to turn away. But this isn't just a simple tale of adrenaline-seeking harvesters and dangerous cliffs. As you'll soon discover, the mad honey narrative crosses paths with ancient history, controversial health claims, daring explorers, ecological challenges, and even rumored doping scandals. From the local families who stake their pride, and sometimes their lives, on honey hunting to global aficionados who will pay steep prices for a small jar of the world's most potent sweetener, each thread of the story reveals an unexpected layer, and what happens next might just shatter your assumptions about what honey truly is. Centuries ago, before modern tourism and social media glimpses turned these Himalayan cliffs into an international fascination, local tribes such as the Gurung learned how to harness the region's natural bounty. Cradled by steep valleys and abrupt rock faces, these areas were, and still are, home to the world's largest honeybees. Known scientifically as Apis laboriosa, these massive insects reach sizes that can be nearly double that of more familiar honeybee varieties. Even long ago, people recognized that the honey from these towering hives was anything but ordinary. According to local legends, certain cave paintings, some believed to be as old as 7,500 years, depict brave hunters scaling cliffs to collect honeycombs. These paintings show stylized figures clinging to rope ladders, carefully harvesting comb from enormous swarms. That imagery has led historians to suggest that the region's relationship with honey is among the oldest known in human civilization. But the earliest hunters likely had no scientific framework for the honey's potent effects. They simply realized that, in measured doses, it seemed to soothe aches and revitalize the body in ways other honeys did not. Over time, a network of rituals, blessings, and taboos formed around this practice. Before ascending a cliff, elders often invoked protective spirits and distributed amulets meant to ward off malevolent forces. These gestures might look symbolic, but for many in the region, they represent tangible layers of defense against not just the danger of the climb, but the unpredictable power of the honey itself. Yet ancient paintings and tribal tales only scratch the surface of why this substance continues to spark global intrigue. While some outside explorers dismiss the honey's effects as mere superstition, others claimed it produced mind-bending experiences that bordered on the mystical. And the more these rumors spread, the more outsiders began trekking to remote Nepalese villages to see if the stories held true. But that wasn't the only reason mad honey drew the world's attention. As interest grew, so did a series of new controversies. Think of a honeybee. Most people imagine a small, fuzzy insect flitting among flowers in a quiet orchard. Now double or triple that size in your mind and relocate the hive to a massive rock wall hundreds of meters above the ground. That's the reality for honey hunters in this isolated corner of Nepal. The bees build single, large, crescent-shaped combs that cling to the cliff face, exposed to the elements. Each comb can hold tens of thousands of bees, creating an ominous dark curtain that pulses with synchronized movement when disturbed. Harvesting from these hives demands an extraordinary level of skill, strength, and courage. Ropes and ladders fashioned from locally sourced bamboo are anchored at the top of the cliff, often near a sturdy tree trunk or embedded rock. The hunter, usually the most experienced member of the group, descends first, carrying a pair of long poles. One is for cutting chunks of the comb loose, while the other has a basket attached to catch the dripping pieces before they tumble into the abyss. Smoke is the only line of defense. Large bundles of green leaves and wild grass are bound together, then lit to create thick clouds of pungent fumes. Lowered near the hives, the smoke disorients the bees, prompting many to scatter temporarily. But these insects are no pushovers. Even when smoked out, they remain capable of delivering vicious stings through thin layers of clothing. Under such conditions, maintaining composure is vital. One misstep or jerk reaction could lead to a catastrophic fall. To the untrained eye, it looks like a death-defying act for minimal reward. Yet local families often depend on the seasonal harvest for both cultural and economic reasons. While not everyone believes in the honey's fabled properties, many still see it as a sacred gift that ties them to the land and to the ancestors who taught them how to endure the cliffs. Over time, this sense of shared heritage has only deepened, making the practice a point of pride for those who continue it. Still, not all who seek mad honey are motivated by cultural preservation. An increasing number of thrill seekers, adventurers, and even health enthusiasts have become captivated by rumors of its outlandish capabilities. Legends call it mad honey for a reason. The bees source nectar from high-altitude rhododendron flowers, which contain naturally occurring compounds sometimes referred to as grayana toxins. In concentrated amounts, these substances can produce a range of effects on the human nervous system, from mild tingling in the limbs to intense dreamlike states. A moderate amount can make your surroundings feel surreal, tilt the world off its usual axis, and even blur the border between waking reality and vivid hallucination. Local healers, sometimes regarded as shamans, have long asserted that this honey can treat certain ailments when used sparingly. They speak of its ability to reduce joint pain, stabilize erratic digestive issues, or boost stamina. In small, controlled doses, perhaps a half teaspoon at sunrise, it's said to promote mental clarity or foster a meditative mindset. Villagers might consume it during festivals, especially those celebrating the changing of seasons, to mark a connection with nature's cycles. But that wasn't the entire story. The same properties that might ease pain can also trigger severe side effects when overconsumed. Reports abound of individuals who took just one extra spoonful and ended up violently nauseous, intensely dizzy, or even partially paralyzed for hours. In rare but alarming cases, some have suffered more than just the effects of the honey, they faced death. Because it interacts directly with sodium channels in the body, too much of this toxin can throw off the body's electrical signals. That's why local knowledge stresses caution at every turn. No one wants to see a visitor or family member incapacitated by the very substance that was supposed to help them. Scientists have taken note of these effects too. Over the past few decades, researchers have conducted small-scale studies on the honey's chemical composition, attempting to unravel the precise mechanisms behind its psychoactive and medicinal components. Some studies hypothesize that the honey might hold potential for novel therapies, provided it's used in strictly regulated environments. Yet others warn that such claims risk sparking reckless consumption or fueling a black market trade. And indeed, controversies have already started to swirl around how and why mad honey is being distributed worldwide. Naturally, this swirl of rumors and half-truths has led to an undercurrent of speculation, especially on the internet, where sensational stories about mind-boggling hallucinations or instant healing can quickly go viral. But the consequences of these sensational claims are far from harmless. Whenever something is both rare and rumored to be powerful, a gray market often follows. That's exactly what has happened with mad honey. In many places, the honey is sold openly at local markets, but the price can be steep, sometimes hundreds of dollars per kilogram, depending on the season and potency. Curious travelers may cough up serious cash just to bring home a small jar. Meanwhile, certain unscrupulous vendors have sprung up online, touting 100% pure Himalayan mad honey at a fraction of the cost. In some cases, investigations reveal that these deals are adulterated with other substances, or even entirely fake, putting buyers at risk. This illicit trade has come with serious ethical questions. Honey hunters in Nepal, often working in extremely perilous conditions, typically receive only a fraction of the final selling price. Middlemen or exporters can pocket substantial profits while leaving the actual harvesters with minimal compensation for their risk and expertise. That economic disparity feeds into larger debates about cultural exploitation. Is the global fascination with mad honey genuinely beneficial to the communities who have nurtured this craft for countless generations, or is it simply turning them into another tourist spectacle? The line between ethically sourced honey and contraband becomes even blurrier when individuals attempt to smuggle large quantities out of the region. Some travelers are rumored to bribe local guides for direct access to the honey right after a harvest, hoping to avoid government regulations or export taxes. Such unregulated activity can create serious safety issues, as unsuspecting buyers might ingest honey far more potent than what is safe, if any amount can truly be called safe. Additionally, the environment suffers. When profit margins skyrocket, there's temptation to overharvest or ignore sustainable practices, further destabilizing an already vulnerable ecosystem. And that's not the only dramatic twist in the saga of mad honey. A quieter yet persistent rumor has circulated within sports circles and online forums for years. Does this honey hold the power to enhance performance? And if so, is it fueling doping controversies? In hushed corners of the internet, there are whispers that certain athletes, desperate for a competitive edge, experiment with obscure natural substances to boost stamina or mental focus. Some speculate that mad honey, with its unusual mix of toxins, might improve blood circulation or temporarily increase tolerance for pain. Scarce, rumors persist about coaches or trainers quietly sourcing small batches from Himalayan villages and distributing them among team members. Of course, doping accusations surfaced in various sports have involved all sorts of strange supplements, from exotic plants to borderline legal chemical enhancers. Mad honey stands out for its dramatic side effects. A single spoonful too many could hamper an athlete rather than help. But that hasn't stopped a small fringe of enthusiasts from believing it could be the next clandestine secret weapon. The idea is that at minimal doses, the honey might offer a brief, heightened burst of energy and reduced muscle fatigue, albeit with a significant risk of nausea or disorientation. Major athletic organizations haven't formally addressed mad honey in their prohibited substance lists, likely due to its rarity and unpredictable chemistry. Still, the mere existence of these doping rumors stokes curiosity, and sometimes unfounded optimism among those seeking a shortcut to athletic glory. Meanwhile, legitimate experts argue that any potential performance boost is minuscule compared to the looming hazards. After all, even in local communities with centuries of experience, mistakes happen. One can only imagine how such a potent substance might backfire in high-stress athletic contexts. But doping rumors aren't the only reason mad honey continues to draw global eyes. A deeper universal concern rests with the environmental changes threatening the bees and the people who rely on them. Rhododendrons flourish in cool, mountainous habitats. Bees depend on these blossoms to produce the toxins that make mad honey so notorious. But as global temperatures fluctuate and unpredictable weather patterns emerge, many locals worry that these flowers won't bloom as reliably or in the same abundance as before. Warmer winters can alter the timing of flowering seasons, meaning the bees might find fewer suitable nectar sources exactly when they need them most. Deforestation compounds the problem. The massive bee colonies that rely on sheltered cliff faces and stable vegetation patterns may decide to relocate or dwindle in number. Some villagers say that in the past decade, they've had to travel farther and scale more treacherous cliffs to find viable hives. If these conditions persist, the entire tradition of honey hunting, already threatened by modernization, may become even more precarious. Younger generations, lured by city life and less hazardous jobs, sometimes see little reason to carry on this inherited legacy. Why risk your life on a rope ladder when you can earn a stable income in a nearby tourist hub or even abroad? Older hunters lament the prospect that the knowledge of constructing bamboo ladders and safely handling belligerent bees might vanish along with them. Yet not everyone is ready to accept such a grim outlook. Organizations focused on cultural preservation have started to promote honey harvest tourism, where small groups of visitors pay to observe the process under carefully controlled conditions. The idea is that this arrangement can encourage local communities to keep practicing sustainable harvesting methods while also diversifying their income. Even so, critics argue that commercializing sacred traditions could cheapen them or place extra strain on the environment. Caught in the middle are the bees and the families who have come to depend on them for cultural survival, spiritual identity, and increasingly a global audience's appetite for the bizarre. Talk to villagers who have consumed mad honey for years, and you'll hear a wide range of stories. Some claim they feel a kind of gentle warmth blooming inside after a single sip, bringing clarity to their thoughts. Others talk about mild hallucinations that show them subtle patterns in the forests or guiding spirits in the mountains. In rare gatherings, a community elder might instruct participants to take a small amount before a ceremony, believing it forges a deeper connection with ancestral guides. At the same time, personal accounts of mishaps are just as abundant. One traveler described an episode of uncontrollable vomiting and chills after ingesting more honey than recommended. Another recalled an eerie sensation of time stretching out endlessly, where minutes seemed like hours. A local man recounted how he drifted into a heavy sleep shortly after tasting what he thought was a modest dose, awakening hours later with a pounding heart and an unsettled stomach. These stories underscore a simple truth. The line between a beneficial effect and a terrifying ordeal is razor thin. No official antidote exists for mad honey intoxication. Hospitals may provide supportive care, monitoring vital signs, administering fluids, and treating symptoms as they arise, but the toxin ultimately has to run its course. That alone convinces many cautious types to keep their distance. Even so, a certain subset of thrill seekers remains undeterred, lured by the promise of an unparalleled sensory experience. For them, hearing about the dangers only amplifies the honey's mystique, and perhaps that's the core of its enduring appeal. Though the world is full of extraordinary substances, few carry the same blend of reverence, danger, and tradition as mad honey. But to fully comprehend how these elements unite, one must look beyond the hype and into the heart of the communities that have safeguarded this treasure for centuries. In the village tea shops where older honey hunters gather, conversations often turn reflective. They discuss how things used to be when the bees were plentiful, the cliffs more stable, and the skies less crowded with drones that tourists use to film their exploits. Some wonder if new safety measures, like modern climbing gear, will ever replace the rope ladders passed down through generations. Others talk about their fears for the future of the forests, the unpredictable monsoons, and how young people's interests seem to lie anywhere but on a hazardous rock face battling giant stinging insects. Yet in those same discussions, one can sense a stubborn determination. For many families, honey hunting is not merely a job or even a tradition. It's the narrative of who they are. It's a skill set honed by trial, error, and sometimes loss. Every climb is a testament to the synergy between human resilience and nature's raw power. At certain times of the year, the entire village feels energized by the prospect of a harvest. Children look on excitedly, some with wide eyes and some with skepticism, at the brave older men gearing up for another climb. Women prepare food in anticipation of a communal celebration when the harvesters return safely. Relatives who have moved away might come back to witness the spectacle, reacquainting themselves with the land that shaped their ancestors. But it's not just the families who are deeply invested now. Scientists, anthropologists, and curious travelers all want a piece of the story. With that attention comes money, but also the risk that the honey and the people who harvest it will become commodities in a global marketplace that often prizes novelty over sustainability. At first glance, mad honey might seem like a simple oddity, just another extreme travel curiosity that tempts adrenaline junkies and spiritual seekers alike. Look more closely, though, and you'll find a microcosm of the human relationship with nature. Cooperation and conflict, reverence and exploitation, a dance between tradition and modernity. For the Gurung and other high cliff communities, the annual harvest is far more than a tourist attraction. It's a way of safeguarding a cultural tapestry that has weathered countless seasons of change, from the earliest cave paintings to the digital era of viral internet videos. Every spoonful of this rare honey carries 1,000 stories, tales of daring hunts, prayers whispered from cliff edges, generational knowledge passed down under the watchful gaze of giant bees. With each harvest season, that tapestry grows a little richer, weaving in the voices of new participants, new controversies, and new scientific insights. And in each retelling, the honey's potency lingers, a reminder that nature holds secrets we may never fully tame. For those who dare to taste it, the experience can be transcendent, terrifying, or both. For the families who risk everything to keep the tradition alive, mad honey is an inheritance that ties them to a unique heritage. And for the rest of the world, it stands as a potent symbol, one that urges us to question our appetite for the extraordinary, our respect for local cultures, and our stewardship of fragile ecosystems. The enigma of this mysterious honey remains, beckoning anyone willing to grapple with the precarious balance between curiosity and caution. In the end, whether mad honey is a perilous indulgence, a hidden medicinal gem, or a spiritual catalyst depends on who you ask. But as the harvesters themselves will tell you, no amount of outside fascination can change the fundamental truth. Perched on those Himalayan cliffs is a living tradition, as sweet and as dangerous as the honey that sustains it. And if the world forgets to honor that balance, the final chapter of this story might be one of irreversible loss, a cautionary tale of what happens when an ancient heritage meets a modern appetite for risk and novelty. Until that day, the bees will keep building their hives, the cliffs will echo with the sound of rope ladders clanking against stone, and villagers will gather around the evening fire, reliving past harvests and planning for the next. For now, the story goes on, a testament to endurance, wonder, and the timeless allure of a humble product that refuses to be tamed. For more videos like this one, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, thanks for watching.